So my name is Pip, and you're Josh.
Josh, yeah.
And this is baby Neve, and Neve was born on the 8th of May 2020 in the middle of all the COVID-19 stuff going on.
Yeah, the lockdown and all that sort of jazz.
So we currently live in New Zealand, in Masterton, which is a town in the bottom of the North Island. So we were lucky in a way because New Zealand hasn't been hit too hard with COVID, but we still had some restrictions during dealing with this little one.
We didn't actually have any cases in the hospital, so it was good. It made us feel a lot better going in there.
And it meant Josh could come in with me because it was a real worry I had that he wasn't going to be able to come in with me. I just thought that was absolutely terrifying, especially considering doing Charlene's course where it's so about your support partner as well, and everything else. Well, are you telling us about your story as well? We might have to shush you up and put you on the milk bar. But I guess the whole thing started like we got married last July, and we went over to Ireland to get married, and it was amazing, being with all my family and friends and stuff like that. And we were very lucky because we got pregnant pretty much straight away, and so we hadn't really been trying really for that long. So certainly it was something I always wanted to have kids, but I probably thought I had a bit more time. And then
especially after we got married,
we just literally got back. And then remember we went to the local supermarket to get the pregnancy test kits, didn't we? And it was like, oh my god, like we're pregnant. And I remember feeling super happy about it, but I was also terrified, like absolutely terrified. I think you were as well. Yeah,
pretty excited though.
Because to be honest with you, I thought maybe I'd have a year, and then it would happen. But we're very lucky now; it happened so soon. But anyway, so maybe mentally I could have done a bit more time to prepare myself. But then I don't think you're ever properly prepared.
When is a good time?
Yeah. But like for me, like personally, my own sort of struggle is a lot of anxiety around the whole female reproductive region in terms of stuff that's medically related. So I'm not a fan of getting cervical smears, and I build it up in my head and all that kind of stuff. So the thought of giving birth really did terrify me. I had a lot of anxiety about giving birth and that whole process and what could go wrong, and how painful it was going to be, and what my body was going to be, if my body was going to be broken afterwards and all this kind of stuff. And with my job as a horse vet, I'd see a lot of I do a lot of mare reproductive stuff when it comes to sort of foaling down mares and things like that. And obviously these are 600 kilo animals, so I'm pretty used to their anatomy and everything else, which is good in a way because I kind of know the whole process. But then it wasn't good because it meant I really visualized all of that stuff that I've seen. And being a vet, I see all the things that go wrong. So, I'm not seeing all the normal stuff necessarily, very rarely. So, I think a part of my anxiety could be potentially related to that, because I'm sort of thinking what could go wrong here, because I know all the things that can go wrong, and therefore I am really, really scared, and I'm really worried because this is affecting me now. And one of the reasons I didn't want to be a doctor is because I just don't like I sort of empathize with people's pain. So if I see that happening to somebody, I can feel it in myself. But with an animal, somehow it's sort of different, which is a weird thing, but it kind of is. A lot of people would say, oh, but you're a horse vet, like you see, foals giving birth, you see foals and mares giving birth to foals all the time. Why would you be freaked out by it? But that's kind of the basis of it for me, is it's sort of two separate entities, but I'm also highly involved in dealing with these 600 kilo animals that are giving birth and getting prolapses and getting major tears or even dying, all these horrible situations. And so that's kind of probably an aspect of why I was so anxious about it, and why I kind of needed to tap into my non-thinking part of the brain and actually just tap into me as a female human being, and as a woman who's pregnant and gonna give birth to a baby, and also positive thinking and not thinking that something bad's gonna happen, and that was one thing that the course helped me, because it was learning to trust your body. And if it was all going to go wrong, we were going to be in the hospital anyway. So it's like, you know, you're going to be fine. But there's no point thinking, I mean, you would always be at me if I was worried or saying, oh my God, you know, I'll never be the same or whatever. You would say to me, don't focus on the negatives, Pip,
you were
focus
definitely,
on the positives.
a lot of the time, especially before you started doing all the affirmations and Charlene's course and whatnot, you were definitely focused on a lot of the negative stuff, and it was bringing you down.
Well, I was just scared, you know. So then I sort of started to be much more positive about it, wasn't I? And and just stopped thinking about all the stuff that could go wrong. So yeah, that was really good for me, actually. Yeah, really, really good.
Like once you'd done the course, you then could turn around and say, well, yeah, I've got this. I can do this. Which like at the beginning, it was like, it
was just so unknown. I didn't know. I was just thinking of all the awful things that I see in my day-to-day job with things going wrong with animals, and I was thinking that's going to happen to me, you know, as opposed to what happens most of the time, which is where most of the time it's normal and it's fine and it's beautiful and, you know, and everything else. So it definitely helped me to get in touch more with my like emotional non-thinking side, and which was really good. So I wasn't sort of overthinking all the stuff and comparing myself to a 600 kilo horse. all the vet stuff, you know. It
was definitely a 360 from when we first started to when we finished the whole course and everything.
You know, I had a good friend of mine I talked about, and she told me about Charlene's course about hypnobirthing, and I just thought, oh my God, that sounds amazing, I have to do it. And that's when I got in touch with Charlene, and I did the course. But that wasn't until I was sort of halfway through my pregnancy. And I was lucky, like my pregnancy was pretty good. I didn't have any major issues or anything like that. It was just the standard kind of, you know, body changing stuff. But yes, then I started doing the course, and it did really help me. I remember there was a turning point where we were going to our midwife in New Zealand, and it was around January, so she was born in May, and I broke down in tears because I was so worried about the whole giving birth thing. I felt completely unprepared. I didn't know what my body was going to do, and I'm with my job, I'm a vet, so I kind of like knowing the biological process of stuff to kind of understand, and I just didn't know what was going to happen from a human point of view, but also the emotional stuff as well. I didn't really know. So anyway, at which point after that, I ended up chatting to this very good friend of mine, who then put me in touch with Charlene, and we started doing the course. And I just listened to all the affirmations. I think I probably found those the most useful. Like at night time, I put them on.
Oh, you play them at night,
and he had listened to them as well. So sort of, you found it really got you to have a nice sleep.
It got me to sleep really well.
Charlene's
it was awesome, voice. And it was it was great. I loved
it. And even like, you know, during the day, if I was sort of a bit stressed or whatever, I put it on, try and zone out for a little bit, and it would just help me sort of calm down a wee bit. And then the other aspects of the course I really enjoyed were just the explanations, like the knitted uterus really helped me. And I remember when I did start to go into labor and having my contractions, how I just totally took me back to when Charlene was explaining the uterus and how you know, the muscles contract upwards and then opens out at the bottom, kind of thing, like kind of opening up a bag or whatever. And it just really helped me to understand, this is why the pain is what it is. I can deal with this. This is fine. And so for my actual from that aspect, that really, really helped me. So we did the course anyway, and then it approached the due date. It was on a Monday, wasn't it? I was getting some pains.
It was the Monday that it sort of kicked off.
Yeah, but it was sort of a bit quite on and off, and I had the old, you know, the Showtime thing as well, and that helped me the way you kind of described it, instead of it being like, oh God, you know, you're sort of expecting the worst, like a bloody discharge, but instead it was like, no, it's Showtime. It's like, okay, cool, my cervix is doing its thing, that's awesome. So it was just the way I was thinking about it sort of changed. It didn't freak me out so much, and that was the way you had sort of described it all in your course, which helped. So anyway, then I was having pains on the Monday, on the Tuesday, and on the Wednesday, on and off, and then Thursday it properly started to happen, and
it was probably about 5 or 6 in the evening.
Yeah, and we set up this room we're in now. I had like my candles and a wee diffuser going, and I had like, you know, a wee bouncy ball and the yoga mat, and we put some nice movies on, and had my fairy lights, and I just remember it being really lovely. And we had a bath as well I was using too, and it was just kind of magical, you know, and it was just my own body was doing it, so I felt like I could deal with the pain.
The speaker and the affirmations playing.
Yeah, they were playing in the background, weren't they? And you were giving me a wee back rub, and anytime I was having a real strong contraction, you'd just stay with me and help me with the breathing. And I did a lot of the rainbow breath as well. I found that really helped, just to think of all the different colors, and it just got me through the contraction then, and it was like it was over, and I was like, oh sweet, cool. Then I'd lie down and continue watching the movie or whatever. And so I did that until I was pretty much definitely ready to go to the hospital. So my contractions
we were doing all the contraction timing we weren't doing it straight away, because the midwife told us just to like do it for maybe 30 minutes and then stop and then start again later on. So we did that, and then it got to, we first rang her at about, I think it must have been about 10 o'clock, and she said, awesome, but your contractions aren't close enough together, so just
keep going,
stay at home and just keep doing what you're doing. So you're better to stay at home, because we had a good environment set up, so we were better to stay here and for as long as we could. And then it got to 1:30, and we were like, all right, it's time now. So we rang her, and she said, yeah, right, I will meet you in the hospital. And we headed down, and
so we headed down to the hospital. We had a lot of we had to go through some like COVID-19 security stuff, but then once we were through there, it was grand. And it was actually lovely, the maternity ward, because they had balloons and fairy lights, so that kind of put me at ease as well. And then I was examined, and she said I was 8 centimeters, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, I thought, Jesus, I'm actually really close to giving birth now, and I've managed to do it all myself at home, more or less, you know. So that was great. And then I went into the pool and the sort of birthing unit in the hospital, and another 2 hours went, and I was up to 10 centimeters.
Yeah, we set up a good environment there as well. We set up.
Yeah.
Well, because you're not allowed to take candles into the hospital, so we just had the
LED ones,
battery operated candles, and we had Pip had painted a couple of pictures, and
I had a picture of a lotus flower, because of your affirmation-y thing, that helped me visualize all of that, and
the rainbow
and
colours.
The rainbow colors, with fairy lights, and
we had the little speaker with the affirmations. Just virtually, we just had them on repeat. So that it was.
And I went into a zone. I was like in a trance, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Like my thinking part of the brain wasn't there. It was this like, I don't know, like it was almost primitive, like it was just, I was just doing my thing, and
but
I was
your
in my
breathing
zone.
was you definitely the affirmations definitely virtually walked us through the whole process.
And then and I think, you know, in my particular birth with her, it was all going really well until that point where I was fully dilated, but my body started to slow down. So my contractions weren't coming as strong. They started to slow up a little bit, and nothing was really happening, but her head was right there, and there was no reason for her not to come through my birth canal. So that was when, I suppose, not that things went wrong or anything, but it just wasn't
things just slowed
textbook,
right down.
It just slowed down. So and for me, with my own self, like, my thing was, oh god, I just wanted kind of as minimal intervention as possible, because I don't really like that kind of thing. So it didn't play out that way, which was fine. And when the midwife said, listen, we need to, you know, give you a Syntocin drip, you know, to get your contractions a wee bit stronger, and I had to have a little head monitor on her and all that kind of stuff. So it was kind of intervention stuff. I remember there was a moment where I did feel like totally panicky, and I remember just saying to her, can I not just go for a walk and see if it'll hurry it up a little bit? You know, I just didn't want, you know, to have a cannula in my hand and all that kind of medical stuff. And she just said, no, Pip, like, this needs to happen now. And I sort of just put my big girl pants on, and then I just went, I need to get back in my zone. And then
it wasn't major intervention, like,
no, I know it wasn't. No, I know it wasn't. wasn't at all. No, it wasn't at all. But for me, I mean, you know, like, yeah, I was like, oh no, I want to do it myself, you know.
This whole time there was like Pip had no pain relief at all, like nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all yet. So then.
Anyway, it got to the point where I was put on the drip and the contractions started to come, and oh yes, like definitely the pain. It was definitely more painful having this synthetic hormone than your natural hormone, for sure.
That's when you had a bit of gas.
Yeah, I had that gas, which I found really helpful, actually. It really, and even just helped me with my breathing, because I was taking those big breaths in. And I remember there was a point I was like, Josh, I don't know how much longer I can do this. I need something. Something.
You almost just want to, you like, I can't, you just, at one point you said, I can't do this. I can't do this. And it's like, you can do this. You just got to breathe through it.
Yeah. But poor Josh, like I think I was holding your hand, wasn't I? And you were just at my head. And, Anyway, the drip worked very well, because only about probably half an hour later, I gave birth to her, and it was amazing. I was on my back, and the midwife had told me not to push because she was putting hot flannels on me, and it meant I didn't really tear too much. So I was very grateful for her for that. And then next minute, Neve came through, and she got me to sort of put her up onto my tummy, and I don't know, it was just the most amazing thing ever. Like, it was just incredible. Oh my god, like. I was like, oh my god, a baby, that's my baby. And then she said, midwife said to you, she was like, well, what is it? You know, what is it, Josh? And you were like a bit flustered, and you were like, oh god, like, you know, it was a school exam or something. Is it a boy or a girl? You had to look, and you're like, a girl. And then the midwife goes, oh, and you know, what should we call him? We knew the one name we had was Neve, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For a girl. So we both were like, her name's Neve, and it was just lovely. And we sat there for an hour with her. She was just on my chest, and past the afterwards, I think I got an injection in my leg, but I didn't feel it. And the afterbirth came out, and I was quite intrigued by it, so I asked to have a look at it because I thought it was amazing. It was lovely. That was amazing. It was amazing.
It really was.
It was definitely one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, but it was also the most incredible and amazing thing I've ever done, and that we've done together as well. Just an amazing experience. And it's funny now, now that's happened, you know, that now we've got a wee baby and stuff, I just think I almost feel for people who haven't gone through that process, because it is just such a visceral moment, and it's so amazing and visceral, and that's just like living, isn't it? It's just, it's really powerful stuff.
You can have someone sit down and talk to you about how, like, their whole experience of having a baby, and then you can't be prepared for it.
I think everyone's is so different, isn't it? Yeah. But definitely, by having for me, it felt like a safety platform I had, because I knew I had affirmations, and I knew I had breathing techniques, and so I knew I had something I could go to in a little bit of a safe place, and I could just focus on that, and it would all be okay. And that's what I did, and I just needed to have that focus elsewhere, and that's what I think really helped me.
We were in the hospital at 1:30, I think it was, in the morning, and Neve was born at 10, after 10 in the morning. So we were in there for 9 hours before Neve was born, and it just, like, looking back now, it just doesn't seem like that time was.
Yeah, went very quickly, didn't it?
It went very quickly.
Yeah.
But then also, you feel like you were sitting in the time, and it was a long time, but then. It's a funny sort of
twilight zone.
Yeah, it is big time.
But no, we're pretty happy now anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Now we go on the other side. Yeah, at some point in the near future, it'd be nice to have another one, but we'll just focus on her at the moment.